I thought I might start a stream while tearing out the carbs, since I've already done several videos on the carbs pulling out. So have some incentive too to get the carbs out. Gotta take all the dressings back off here. See if I can get this done in like a half hour. Get the air box out, and then throttle cables and choke cables, and then the fuel lines going to it. These are 10mm bolts. To get the whole carb out, you take off these on either side, and then you have to pull it off to the driver's side of the bike. Sometimes you probably have to take these caps off on the passenger side for it to get to fit all the way out. the throttle cables are in the back too, so once you get this free and can kind of slide it out, you can get to the throttle cables and take them off. I hadn't tightened them down since the last time, so it's Plenum's on the other side. Screws in. Do one thing real quick. Okay, so on the passenger side, I'm going to take these off. I'll come back to this side, and then we should be able to wiggle it free. I also got to take the choke cable off that side too. So, take you with me for that. So to get the choke cable off, raise it up, and then there's a slot in the back. It's kind of hard to see that the cable will just slide out of. There, it's free. You let that go. So now your choke cable's free. You can unscrew it here too, but it came out pretty easy on that one. So I'm gonna take these off now. There's also this little hose here. There's also a fuel hose right here. And some of this is already loose. So, pop this out real quick. This probably would be easier to do if you still had it attached. It's still full of gas. Why is that? Okay, well that's interesting. It's not been that full before. Alright, go to the point now and pull these off. Okay, yeah, on this one you do have to take it off. I forgot about that. It's attached to the top of the carb and not the frame. That's just the Phillips. You don't have to take it all the way. It's just like a pinch. Probably turn that back in just a little bit so it doesn't get too crazy there. All right, pull these plenums off. It's always the challenge. Might be easier to heat those up and take them off, but mine usually come off fairly easy. There we go. A little twist, but these have that little notch here to help you locate on top of the carb. You can see that nibble there. Okay. So this is pretty loose. What I'm going to do is take these bowls, or the caps off here. Probably have to push it towards the middle more, but before I do that, I want to get these screws out. Alright, so I get this carb out in a half hour. That's my goal. I think we've been going for, what, 10 minutes now? 15 minutes? And the hard part's the throttle cables. Those are always a pain. And then getting these caps is a pain sometimes too. But I've done this enough times now that I'm getting to be well versed at taking this thing out. So we got one more to do. If I can reach it down here, I don't know if you can even see that. Come on, a little bit more. There we go. Get it without dropping it. Alright, there we go. So those caps will come off now. Now inside those they have a pin that goes all the way through, and it's spring loaded as well. So you kind of need to get it positioned where the air filter goes up here to be able to pull these caps off and get the springs and everything out there, because you need the caps off to get it under this bar on the driver's side. Get it to the middle here. And I'll do one like this and I'll move the camera. But you see these springs are in here. And then get these pins as well. So you don't want to lose those. You don't want to mix them up either. Get both of them out. Sit on the workbench here, and then I'll move you around to see the other side. Okay, so this all should be good. We got the choke cable off, the plenums, the caps. So this should slide through. And then on this side we have the throttle cable and the throttle pull and throttle push cable. I'll spin you around to the driver's side of the bike. And go to take these off as well. So I take the plenums off, and then it should pull out enough. The throttle cables are loose already. For the testing I was doing, I had them loose since I wasn't able to ride it. It doesn't matter too much. Let me slide you to this side, and you can see the throttle cable in action here. But yeah, your spark wire cables get up out of the way, and the throttle cables kind of route down through here, and they're definitely a pain to get in. Definitely a pain to get out too. Carbs like to hit on everything, and you feel like there's no possible way that they'll fit, but somehow they do. So let's see. This cable is now free. Then there's the return cable up top here that is loose. It's just a 10 millimeter, but I've got it finger loose right now, so I can get it maybe to get off of that thing. Okay, let's see if we can get this one. Let me get a 10 millimeter wrench here. Should have had all this laid out beforehand, I guess, but just kind of going with it. Okay. It's not a word project unless you drop something, right? I think that'll help see what's going on back there. So this one is one of the cables you got to release, and it sits right in here, and it wraps around down here on this piece. So in order to get them out, you kind of have to have them both loose. So I need to get new cables probably, but they work still, so I'm just trying to get the bike to running form again and go from there. But it'd probably be smart to replace those while I have these out, so I don't have to pull the carbs again, because it's not the easiest thing to do. But after you've done it 4 or 5 times, you kind of get used to it, I guess. I'm trying to think. I've done it at least that many. This might be the 6th or 7th time I think I've done this. If you've watched any of my other videos, then I'm sorry you've had to suffer through those, but this is the second set of carbs that I got. I had the one that came with the bike, and I just couldn't get it to operate normally, and kind of tore them down, rebuilt them. The one thing I didn't do is put them through like an ultrasonic cleaner, because I don't really have access to one. So I'm wondering if that might have helped. But I found this carb on eBay for like $100, $120, I think, and it looked clean. So well, I'll give that a shot, and then at least hopefully be able to get the bike on the road this season. And then, as I needed to, tear the other carbs down and get them all the way torn down and cleaned and all that good stuff. But now this one's giving me problems, so now I get to pick which one I want. The other carbs just didn't run quite right, but they didn't leak. This one seems to be leaking, and it's not from the bowls or anything, but I think it's from the accelerator pump. So I'm gonna take it down, pull it apart a little bit to see what's going on. This one does not. There's also this nut on this side I always forget about. Give you some space to work, and then get this to come out a little more. So there's this cap right here that's kind of the part of the cable that loops around it and then rests on this part on the top. So get that loosened up. Which way am I going here? There we go. almost there. There we go, perfect. All right, it's off of there. Now I think we can slide this out a little more and then get it off of the push and pull lever there, off of the carb. Maybe. Let me know if you like doing these. I'll try to do more of them. I figured since I've put together videos on pulling out carbs already, it might be boring to have another one on the channel, whereas I was like, oh, maybe we could do a live stream and see if people like that, but you gotta have people to watch it to enjoy it, so that's usually not a problem that I have, is people watching my stuff. Okay, now this is the tricky part. Okay, well that was a lot easier than I thought. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see. Okay, we should be able to pull this out a little bit more and then have access to this. Now let's see. Okay. All right. So you can kind of now see back here. I'll get this thing to focus. So this one connects to this piece and then wraps underneath. And then it's actually close. There's a little divot. I'll show you once I get this out. That the knobs connect into. So I just need some slack on this one. And it should. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. Come on. Why are you being difficult? There we go. There we go. Okay. This is I can never remember. I want to say this is the pull and the other one's the push. But that's that. All right, my goal is to have this out in a half an hour. And I don't know why not. No. Everything's free. All the fuel lines are gone. It's leaking gas. All the recipe for success here. Everything's in place. What is it caught on? This is always the part that's weird because it's just jammed in there so tight. You think it's stuck on stuff, but it's really not. It's just I'm not smart enough to figure out how to get this thing out. On the bowls. There we go. Come on. Try from the other side here. Let's see. It's stuck on anything. I've gotten this out without taking these bowls off, but man, it seems like they need to come out. No, got plenty of clearance. It's catching, yeah. It's catching on this cable. There we go. It's a lot freer now. Oh my goodness. Oh, there we go. I think. Well, there we go. Okay. Success. There you have a full set of 1981 Honda Goldwing carburetors here. So you can see where these throttle cables loop in here. Like I said, this one comes around and connects into that one, and then the other one comes here, comes down into this one. Then with that, you got your push and pull. Choke cable goes here. The choke on this bike, and maybe, I don't know enough, but maybe it's the same for all the other bikes that have carburetors, is it essentially just opens up your butterflies as your throttle would, but it kind of locks in place, if I understand this correctly, which it's a good chance that I do not. Why this bike is not working, but yeah, there's that. Sure, that's good that the screws are all loose already, and I haven't done that. But basically what I did is I bought this carburetor from eBay, like I said, and didn't really test it other than I put it on the bike and started it up. And it seemed to run pretty good. It seemed to run better than the other carb that I had. But now it's kind of leaking. I think that's the culprit right here, the accelerator pump, which I do have a new one, which you can kind of see how that works. So this, when you twist the throttle, pushes down here, and this has a diaphragm in it that then lets the fuel go through. Let me get this set up on the bench, and then I'll pull the other one, and we'll see. Of course, I didn't make space on the workbench yet, so let's do that now. There's still a little bit of fuel in it, but it's not too shabby. All right. So this is from a video that I haven't posted yet, but I got it done. I broke this piece off of the bike when I was trying to adjust the valves, and so this piece is another eBay find. But if you need one, let me know. I will happily send this to you. You can't have the cap, but it's the alternator cover. If you need one for yours, let me know. Get out of the way. Or if you need other little parts, like I have 2 sets of these chrome covers for the carburetors, and I don't need 2 sets. They have a teeny bit of rust, but they'd be easy to clean. I don't even know if I'm going to run it with those, but that's kind of the last thing I'm thinking about at the moment. I want to be able to run it in general, but I didn't even plan to get this far other than getting the carbs out. So let's get it out, and I'll pull that. See what happens when I spin these. I'll pull one of these bowls off and just see if our chance the diaphragm's bad. Then I also have, I also have a new one here, or one that's slightly used off the old one that was new a little bit ago. But I want to tip it up. I'm afraid I'll spill a bunch of gas out. Alright, so to get these off, nice. Missing a screw. Didn't notice that. Yeah, I did kind of a quick inspection of them and slapped them in the bike. So, so I got the Phillips here. I'll grab my screwdriver. Let's take this bowl off and see. This one's kind of the trickier bowl because it's got the accelerator pump. The other one should be pretty easy. The one thing this bike has that, or this carb has that my other bike, the original carb, doesn't have is these. So these were cracked open a little bit and they were leaking. And actually, now that I think about it, it might be not a bad idea to open these up and see if it'll drain out some of that fuel so I don't just pour it everywhere. I'll just pour it in smaller doses at a time. But this was from an 82. Mine's a 1981. And the book doesn't really have anything about these. So I believe the book goes up to the 83 model, but this wasn't mentioned in the book at all. So I don't know exactly what these are for, other than to like drain it maybe, which is what it was doing successfully when I wasn't wanting it to. So I tightened those up, but then I started leaking from other places. So, okay, now gas is coming out. So, not surprisingly. And I need to get something to put these in. Let's see, oh, this is, oh, hey, look at that. This is the one out of the other carburetor. This diaphragm here, which you can kind of see has definitely seen better days. So, we'll, I guess, pull this out. Let me get my light. I don't know how technically sound I will be able to get this pump out, but it could be. Let me tighten this down. Try to tighten this down. So when I was trying to start it yesterday, I was looking at the bottom of the bike because there was gas forming on the ground, but it was running down the headers and just dripping off down there. So I couldn't quite tell if it was where it was coming from. So I think when I looked, it was dripping off of this, but this is also the lowest point. So, it makes sense that it would run down to that point and drip off, especially when it wasn't like pouring out. It was just literally a drop, drop, drop. But there's enough coming out and hitting the ground that it was pulling up a spot. So I was thinking it's this, but I didn't notice that this screw was missing. So that definitely could be part of it. But I got it here. I might as well pull these apart a little bit and we'll see. I just need to find a place to put all these parts so that I don't lose them, because that's usually what I do. I don't do that. It's all dirty. Well, I'll go with continue with this here. Carburetor. So there's supposed to be, I guess, 3 screws on this bowl, and there's only 2. So that's definitely a possibility where it was leaking. Also, they have all these passages that go back and forth, and they could be clogged, they could be all sorts of things, but I think they're okay because the bike was running. So this, it's kind of hard to see, but the accelerator pump here pushes up against the throttle house, or the, I don't even know the technical term, I guess, but this the throttle linkage. And then, so you gotta be careful when you're pulling that in and out because it's kind of picky about where it goes back. But boom, there we go. Okay, that's the first I pull these off. But man, those floats look really good. There's an adjustment setting for these, and I did it on the other ones, but I'm guessing I'm gonna have to do it now on these. bad, which is nice, I guess. Get this gas out of here. Pull the accelerator diaphragm further. I think that's the accelerator pump. Maybe I'm just spouting off about nothing, but I think that's called the accelerator pump. I wouldn't take anything I said technical as gospel. Sometimes I just name things, then that's their name in my brain, and I can never overwrite it with the right one once I've learned the right one. Ooh, some good gas coming out. I wonder. That's the mischief maker. It's always good. You have to do all this work to get these things out, and it's always something small. So that's one thing to be aware of. I forgot there's a spring in there. So there's a spring behind this cap that thankfully I did not lose. But oops. See, I'm excited about how clean this is. It's hard to tell because you have these little. Come on, focus up. You can kind of see it. It kind of has that little orifice in there where maybe that's a little better. I don't know. You can't really see it, but there's a little orifice in there that fuel's got to go through. It's just all these little passages. The smallest little thing can get in there and gum it all up, and has a big effect on how your bike runs. So, well, that's disconcerting. That looks brand new. So, I don't know. I was hoping this thing would look like crud, and that would be the answer to all my problems. But of course, it's never that simple. The gasket looks pretty good. That's good. But the big thing, that screw definitely could be causing the problem. Slowly dripping gas all over my workbench here. Okay, so I guess what should I do next? Good. Well, no. I feel like something's missing out of there. Maybe it's just a passage, but I feel like there should be another jet kind of thing in there. I'll pull another one off and just see. So we're sticking with this side. All right. Bugs everywhere. All right, pull this next one off here. Sorry about the dirty workbench. I wasn't even thinking about that, and then just started streaming it, and ooh, there's a bunch of gas. I thought most of it had drained, but I guess when I stuck it up, all the gas probably ported through down to that one. Lovely. Get rid of this stuff here. some of it at least. A special gas repository. Alright. So I figure the best way to be educational is to show people what not to do. So the other thing about this carb that's different about the one I had on the 81 is that the 81's adjuster screws have a little tab on them. These are just straight, so I don't know what the deal is with that one. Seems pretty clean. Like, it's not really gunk, it's almost like a scrape. But let's see. Genius. Genius, genius, genius. Okay. Alright, so these are the floats. And they look pretty good. They have a spring that sets. It's all dirty now. This is the float needle. Sticks down in here and rides on this piece here. Pin dropped out of that. So I gotta find that. Well, I'll have to find that later. There's a pin like that. That. A smaller one. A pin that comes through like this. Goes through both posts. Supposed to go through both posts. Come on. And then these are supposed to be set to a certain height when they're just sitting there. So I'll check that too, but these seem to be right. I think they're supposed to be, I can't remember what they are. There's a set height from here to the top of this that they're supposed to be. But I can find the pin on there. Alright, since I got gas all over the place, I might as well do these other two real quick. My cameraman's failing. pretty happy with how clean these look to begin with. That's a nice surprise. The pictures and the listing when I bought it seemed like they were, but I mean, they can look clean and still not be clean internally. Metaphor for life right there. I would suggest when you do these to be a lot more organized when you're taking these pieces out. That way it can go back the right way. But since I'm just kind of speed running this tonight, I'm not doing that. But I'll put this all back together tonight so I don't forget. Now that one, I've got more gunk in there. This would be the driver's side. So the driver's side is usually dirtier because the kickstand is on that side, so it leans and sits on that side. But it's not too shabby. Not too bad. Still got some crud in there, but not bad. I wonder if that port. Get some carb cleaner out and clean these up manually. Need to invest in an ultrasonic, I guess, and just strip all these down and go. But these look good. Yeah, it's just, I know there's something missing in these. There should be a, let's see here. Consult the expert. Where are we at? Carburetors. Schedule 316. How to get them out. Should be right here somewhere. This book is awesome if you can get one. This is a service manual. Go to where the dirtiest part is. That's where I've been. Carburetors. Okay. Husko's float chamber. Air cutoff. Yeah, there's air cutoffs here. Float on. Yeah, so that in the old one, it's got that limiter cap, whereas these don't have that. And then it's not a really good picture of it on this one. Oh, yeah, I guess they do have it. The old, it's weird. I missed it on the last time I looked, I guess. But yeah, so this one goes. The center one, this is here. You can pull this out, and the jet's all the way down at the bottom. You can get those. The other reason I bought this is the 81s. They're press fit in, so they're real bare to get out. The 82s, they got smart and actually made it so you can thread them out. But I thought they were in a different spot, but I guess not. So, I don't know. I guess the next steps, I'll clean these up, put it back together, and find a screw for the one that was missing and see if that gets rid of the dripping problem. I don't know what else to do, but we'll give that a shot. I'm gonna button these back up, but I'll leave it run for that. I gotta find the pin that fell out of this thing. No, like I said, I found the pin that goes through this thing. Make sure it's cleaned. Sweet. Okay. Well, I'm gonna probably call it for tonight. I'll put these caps back on, and we'll go from there. Let's get these finger tight, and then keep all the junk out of there, and then I'll come back through and clean them. Like I said, I'll just get these finger tight for tonight because I come back through and clean them up, but I'm running out of time for what I could do tonight. But I don't just want everything to fall out. Oh man, I left my Mountain Dew out of the fridge, so it's gonna be warm. Okay, I'll get these three. And this one. Kind of see how that goes in there. I'll put it over there well enough. And then just proceed to get it dirty on the floor. So this is the one you gotta watch because it's gotta go through a certain way. You gotta feed it through. There we go. Not too bad. These are for the accelerator pump cap. This one's always tricky because it puts so much tension on it with that spring in there. Get one, but you want to get the other started. Kind of keep a hand on it, that way it doesn't just blow up like it did when I took it off. So that's not going to go anywhere, I don't think. So I might have to sacrifice a screw from my old one and do this. I'm half tempted now to slide the old carb on there just to see what it does. That won't be tonight, but at least I know the bike runs with that one. I can ride it, even if it's not right in the low end. Thanks for that. Alrighty, well, I'm gonna call that for tonight. thanks for hanging out. We got further than I was hoping to, so that's good. I'm gonna clean these up as the next steps. I've got a couple videos queued up to come out yet this week. One this week, and then I got another one that'll come out shortly after that, I think. So stay tuned if you want to subscribe. I'll be working on this bike some more and doing more stuff like this. If you like the live streams, let me know too. I'll do more of that while I'm wrenching on the bike, and you know, if you have any suggestions on what to do to keep it going or things I can do better, I'm always open to that. As long as it's constructive, I don't mind. But well, thanks for hanging out. We'll cut it there, and did my first live stream, so that's kind of exciting. Hopefully you enjoyed and it wasn't too boring. You could watch me fumble through some stuff. So thanks for watching.